Ever wondered how the world's biggest aerospace company went from a small idea to controlling the skies? This isn't just another success story. It's a tale of visionaries who turned nothing into a billion-dollar empire, overcoming obstacles, defying the odds, and reshaping the future of aviation. How did they do it? Let's find out. Chapter 1. The Spark of an Idea. A dream takes flight. In the early 1900s, aviation was still in its infancy. The Wright brothers had made their groundbreaking flight in 1903, but the skies were still a wild, dangerous place. Few could imagine that one day, airplanes would become a normal part of life. For most, flying was still a risky and niche endeavor. But in a small office somewhere, a handful of visionary engineers began to dream of a new future, one where airplanes could take people to distant lands, revolutionizing travel, and making air transportation as ordinary as a car ride. Back then, the industry was dominated by pioneers who were just starting to get a foothold. Companies like Boeing and Lockheed were already competing to become major players. But the founders of this future aerospace giant weren't worried about what others were doing. They weren't trying to catch up. They were trying to create something entirely different. They saw beyond the limits of the existing technology and realized that with the right vision, they could build an aircraft company that would change the world. But this dream wasn't built on certainty. The idea was untested, risky, and required a leap of faith. No one knew it at the time. But this dream was about to take shape, and it would soon be realized in ways no one could have anticipated. Chapter 2. Humble Beginnings. Starting from scratch. The road to success was anything but smooth. Unlike today's tech startups that are backed by venture capital or government grants, these early pioneers had no resources to draw on. In fact, they were working in garages and makeshift hangars, with only a handful of employees, some basic tools, and a vision of something much bigger. The first prototypes were rudimentary at best. They weren't flashy or fast. They were simple machines, often using outdated materials and designs that couldn't compete with the more established players. But what they lacked in funding, they made up for in innovation. Each failure became an opportunity to improve their designs, and every small victory brought them closer to their goal. What was their secret? Persistence. In those early days, the company didn't have much money, but they had an unwavering belief that they could create something the world had never seen before. They spent countless hours testing, redesigning, and tweaking their models, always striving for perfection. It wasn't just about building a plane. It was about creating a product that would change the world. But this wasn't something that could be achieved overnight. In the face of adversity, the team didn't just push through, they thrived. The foundation for the future had been laid, though no one knew if it would survive the next round of tests. Chapter 3. The Game Changer. Breakthrough Innovation. Years of painstaking work finally led to a breakthrough moment. The team had been Chapter 4. The Battle for Recognition. Taking on the giants. Now came the hard part. The company had to break into an industry that was already crowded with established players. The skeptics were everywhere. Industry leaders laughed at the idea of a small startup disrupting an industry they controlled. Some even said the company was doomed to fail. But the team had something those giants didn't, an innovative product that could change the game. With each new test flight, the company's confidence grew. They managed to convince a few smaller airlines and independent contractors to try their planes. And once those planes hit the skies, word spread. The skeptics were silenced as the company's aircraft proved their worth. They were faster, more efficient, and cost-effective. Soon, they were getting more orders than they could handle. But this success didn't come without a price. The company had to scale quickly, acquire more engineers, expand their production lines, and increase manufacturing capacity, but to dominate. Chapter 5. Rapid Growth. Scaling to meet demand. As the demand for their planes increased, the company had to shift from being a small startup to a massive global corporation. They expanded quickly, building new factories, hiring hundreds of new employees, and refining their designs to meet the growing needs of their clients. It was a full-on race to keep up with orders while continuing to innovate and improve their products. They didn't stop at just commercial aircraft. The company turned its attention to military contracts, expanding its reach and establishing itself as a dominant player in defense aerospace as well. The company's reputation began to grow, not just as a manufacturer of aircraft, but as a powerhouse in aviation and military technology. Every new deal, every new contract, brought with it a greater sense of responsibility. The company wasn't just making planes anymore. They were playing a pivotal role in shaping the future of global aviation and defense. Yet every success came with new challenges. Scaling at this speed was difficult, and managing the growing complexity of their operations was no easy feat. But the company was up to the task. They were proving that innovation wasn't just about new ideas, it was about execution. Chapter 6: The Global Reach, Becoming a Household Name. By the late 20th century, the company had gone from a small startup to a global powerhouse. They had contracts with governments around the world. Major airlines were lining up to buy their planes, and their reputation for quality and innovation had made them a household name. The company wasn't just building airplanes. It was changing the face of transportation. In the 21st century, the company expanded even further into space exploration. With the advent of commercial space travel, they were one of the first to seize the opportunity. Satellites, spacecraft, and the technology to get them into orbit became just as important as their airplanes. Their rockets flew into space, and their aircraft flew to the farthest corners of the Earth. Today, they don't just dominate the skies. They're reaching for the stars. Chapter 7: The Legacy, Shaping the Future of Aviation and Space. Fast forward to today, and this aerospace giant stands at the forefront of both aviation and space exploration. Their planes now fly around the world, and their technologies are revolutionizing how we travel. But the company's legacy isn't just about what it's done so far. It's about what it continues to do. The company isn't just an industry leader. It's a pioneer in developing new technologies, from AI to eco-friendly flight solutions, and even space exploration. They're working on making air travel more sustainable, developing electric planes, and venturing into commercial space travel. Their story is a testament to the power of persistence, innovation, and the willingness to break barriers. They've gone from humble beginnings to become a global force, shaping the future of both aviation and space. Their legacy is just beginning, and the world is watching closely to see what's next. Outro. So, what's the takeaway? This company's rise wasn't about luck. It was about visionaries who refused to give up on their dreams, no matter how impossible they seemed. It's a story of persistence, innovation, and a deep belief in the power of technology to change the world. What dream of yours could change the world if you refuse to give up? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and let's talk about how we can all make our own mark on history.